law against using the military, in the internal areas of the United States. So, I mean, obviously the administration walked that back, and they realize that's kind of a trigger word that causes a lot of concern. But I don't want to get distracted by the administration using one word. I really think people should pay attention to what's listed in these memorandum that's coming out of the government, which genuinely should cause concern about what's going to be happening.
So let's talk about your client base. How many, who typically do you represent?
Okay, so we have a kind of a large immigration practice for the Denver or for the metropolitan area. We're one of the more larger immigration law firms that's focusing only on immigration here in Colorado. Our client base, it really is broken into 3 or 4 segments. We represent a lot of employers that are using the immigration system, so sponsoring foreign workers for temporary visas or for permanent residency visas. We represent school districts, colleges and universities, high-skilled employers looking for high-tech workers, so the entire range of employers. We also represent families, Ann, and families wanting to sponsor loved ones to come to the United States. If you had married someone who came from overseas. And then, we do have a large number of people that we're offering a legal representation to that are the undocumented population that are seeking quality legal advice in order to respond to the current situation.
Yeah, I know some of the biggest complaints that we keep hearing is that many of the people here who are undocumented are committing crimes or taking away our jobs. Is that what you're seeing in your base?
Well, I don't think that's really a factual statement. I think that the people that are here in an undocumented status are for the most part not criminals. The statistics are really out there, and any objective review of the statistics shows that the undocumented population is causing crime in a much lower percentage than documented people in this country. And to try to build an immigration policy around those few people or those people that are committing crimes isn't a really sensible way to approach the problem. We obviously have some problems where people are committing crimes, and they should be dealt with harshly and strictly. But the fact is that under the Obama administration, those people had already been high priority for arrest and deportation from the United States.
What could you see from the Trump administration that would help bring some clarity to this issue so there's not this angst and confusion, I guess?
Well, I think more clarity in terms of how they're going to execute these new policies. If I could just take a minute to point out a couple of things that are in these memos. They're talking about large-scale use of a procedure called expedited removal, to bring that type of procedure where people's due process rights are very limited, to expand that throughout the United States. They're talking in the memos about large-scale detention facilities to detain people who previously hadn't been detained. They're talking about hiring 15,000 additional immigration enforcement officers. They're talking about empowering local law enforcement to become immigration agents and act on behalf of the federal government in rounding up or detaining people. So it's a combination of these factors that is causing a lot of anxiety. I think one thing the administration could do is to come out and say more clearly that we're going to prioritize these people and that we're not going to be arresting and detaining people that have not caused harm in this country, that are not a risk to the national safety or public safety in our country, and people that have been here for a very long time. I think one thing that's important to recognize is that our country needs these undocumented immigrants in the United States. They help us with our agriculture. They help us with our hospitality industry, including widespread use in Colorado. They help us, with all kinds of industries, whether it be construction. We have a large undocumented population right here in Colorado that's providing services that our country and our society wants.
So prioritization would be a great start for some clarity here.
Of course.
All right, David Kolko, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your insight on all of this. I know you're wondering what the state legislature's been up to. We'll have that conversation right after this.